For topic two, we're going to look at capacity and the metric system. You can also think of this as volume, okay? Again, nothing really brand new. We have to learn a new basic unit, but the metric system is just the metric system, okay? So we have the same prefixes, they mean the same thing. We're just going to replace meter or gram with now a liter, okay? So the basic unit of, ooh, that should not say mass, that should say capacity. That is a tiny typo, sorry about that. So the basic unit of capacity in the metric system is the liter, okay? So think liter like soda, like you can buy a 2 liter of soda. That's exactly what we're talking about here, okay? Now remember, we have a series of prefixes that we use in the metric system. We have kilo, which means 1,000, hecto means 100, deca means 10, and then we get to the smaller prefixes. Deci means 1/10, centi means 100th, and milli means 1,000th. And then the order that we're looking for is kilo, hecto, deca, one single basic unit, which is a liter, and then deci, centi, milli. Okay, so I'm going to write this out so we can use it for this example 4. So we have kiloliter. Ooh, don't put deca. We have kiloliter, hecto, deca. Remember, deca has an abbreviation DA instead of just D. Then we have a single liter, a deciliter, a centiliter, and a milliliter. So that's the order that we want from largest to smallest. And remember, King Henry died by drinking. That's not how you spell drinking. It's really late and I've made hours of videos today, so give me a break. All right, this is drinking chocolate milk. So remember that we have K for kilo, H for hecto, D for deca, and then by, the B is for just basic unit, and then we have deci, centi, milli. So hopefully that'll help you remember the order of the metric system that we need, okay? So it's the same whether you're talking about meters, grams, or liters. All you have to do is replace meter, liter, gram with one or the other, and you've got the metric system, which is really nice. So you kind of learn it once, apply it 3 times. Okay, now for example 4, it says perform the conversion, include correct units with each answer. Okay, let me actually see if I want to make sure I have the metric system. There we go, it all fits. So we first have 12.25 HL, so hectoliters. We want to convert that to ML, which is milliliters, okay? So we're starting here, and we need to go all the way down here to milliliters. So we're moving to the right, and we're moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So we need to move 5 to the right. Okay? Now we move the decimal is what we mean by move. So if I have 12.25, I need to move the decimal to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Every time I move past the number, I just fill in with a 0. So this tells me I have 1, 2, 2, 5, 0, 0, 0. So I have 1,225,000 milliliters. Okay, so that is essentially like multiplying by the power of 10 that has 5 zeros. So it's basically like multiplying by 100,000. Okay, same process, we just kind of jump to it. All right. Now for part B, we have 13,785 centiliters, and we want to convert that to decaliters. So let's see what that is going to look like. Okay. So we're starting with centiliters, which is right here. All right. We're going to have to move to the left to get to decaliters, and we're going to have to move 1, 2, 3 times. So 3 to the left. All right. So if you don't see an actual decimal point, you always assume it's at the end of your number. Okay. So we're going to put our decimal point, like after the 5, and we're going to move it to the left 1, 2, 3 times. So that tells me I have 13.785 decaliters. And that is converting within the metric system involving capacity or volume. Okay. So again, we learn this process once, and all we have to do is change meter, gram, and liter back and forth, and we've got the metric system. Okay. So that's really, really nice. Makes it easy to convert. All right. Now, for example 5, we have addition and we have subtraction. So we've done this in the previous two worksheets, so there shouldn't be anything super new and outrageous. For example 5, it says perform the indicated operation and include correct units with each answer. So for part A, we have 22,250 liters, and we want to add that to 12.5 kiloliters, and it says write the answer in kiloliters. So that tells me I want to take my 22,250 liters and start by converting that to kiloliters. Then I can do my addition. Okay, so let's write out the metric system. We have kilo, hecto, deca, a single liter, deci, centi, milli. Okay, now we need to start at liters and we need to convert to kiloliters, which means we need to move the decimal to the left 3 times. Okay. So 3 to the left. All right. Now remember, just like in the previous example, if you don't see a decimal point, you always put it at the end of your number and then move your decimal. So I'm going to move to the left 1, 2, 3 times. So this is 22.250. I don't really need this 0 at the end of my decimal, so I'm just going to say this is 22.25. Okay. So then my final problem, I need to take 22.25 kiloliters, and I need to add that to 12.5 kiloliters. And so we can just do some side work. This one's not going to be too hard. So we have 22.25 times 12.5. We can add a little 0 after the 5 and 12.5 so that we have matching columns. All right, 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. Drop down your decimal point. 2 plus 2 is 4, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. So that tells me my final answer is 34.75 kiloliters. And that's it. All right, so just make sure when you're doing these problems, you convert to whatever unit they want the final answer in, and then do your addition or your subtraction. Okay? For part B, we have that we're going to subtract 135 liters from 18,500 centiliters, and we want to write our answer in centiliters. So the first thing I need to do is take 135 liters and convert it to centiliters. Okay, so let's see what that's going to look like. Well, we have liters, which is right here in the middle. We want to convert to centiliters, which means we need to move to the right twice. So this is essentially just multiplying by 100. So 2 to the right. And remember, if you don't see a decimal, you assume it's at the end, and then I'm going to move. So I'm going to put my decimal and then move it twice. So that means I really have 13,500. So 135 liters is 13,500 centiliters. And now we can perform our subtraction. So we want to take 135 liters from 18,500 centiliters. And remember, 135 liters is really 13,500 centiliters. And again, this one's going to be pretty easy, so I'm just going to do the side work instead of going to the calculator. This one we could actually do in our head. But we line everything up, we subtract, so 0 minus 0, 0 minus 0, 5 minus 5, put in your comma, 8 minus 3 is 5, and then 1 minus 1 is just 0. So we would say after subtracting, we get 5,000 centiliters, and that's it. Okay, so that is adding and subtracting in the metric system. Again, we learn this process once, and then all we have to do is kind of replace or move around gram, liter, meter, and then we can do the same thing. So learn it once, apply it 3 times. Okay, it's kind of like measure twice, cut once. It's sort of the same thing. We learn it once, and then we use it over and over. All right, example 6 is probably the last one. Yeah, example 6 is the last one, and this is just going to be our application, so the word problems. All right. So for example 6, it says solve each problem, include correct units with each answer. Okay, so for part A, it says a water barrel contains 21 gallons, 3 quarts of water. Okay, how much water will be in the barrel if an additional 12 gallons, 2 quarts are added? Well, this is just adding mixed units. We've done this before. So I'm going to write this out vertically. I have 21 gallons, 3 quarts. And I'm going to add 12 gallons, 2 quarts. All right, so we want to add like units. So we're going to add our quarts and then we're going to add our gallons. So 3 plus 5 quarts is just, or 3 plus 5. 3 plus 2 is 5 quarts. Okay, and then 21 gallons plus 12 gallons ends up being 33 gallons. The issue here is this 5 quarts. We always want to make sure that the smaller unit doesn't contain a whole bigger unit. So 5 quarts is actually more than 1 gallon's worth of quarts because remember, 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. So this is really, think of this as 33 gallons plus 5 quarts, but 5 quarts could really be thought of as 1 gallon, 1 quart. So remember, 1 gallon is really 4 quarts. So I can take 4 whole quarts out of 5 quarts and call it a gallon. So we're going to then say we have 33 gallons plus 1 gallon, 1 quart, which tells me at the end of the day, I have 34 gallons and 1 quart of water. There you have it. Okay. So just make sure when you do addition of these mixed units that the smaller unit isn't more than one of the bigger unit. If so, you need to do a little work. That was kind of like when we added mixed numbers and we had that the fraction was improper and we had to kind of fix it. Sort of the same idea here. Okay, now for part B, we have 15.9 liters of water can be pumped into a tank every minute. Okay, how many liters will be in the tank after 75 minutes? So we know that we can get 15.9 liters every single minute. And we know we're looking at 75 minutes total. So essentially we want to take 15.9 and multiply it by 17, and that'll tell us the total liters that would be in this tank after 75 minutes. And for this one, I am going to go to the calculator. We could certainly do this by hand, but I am fully on board with y'all using your calculator for your side work. You have to show me your setup, and then the calculator can do the side work. So we want the calculator to do 15.9 times 75, and that's going to tell us how many liters we have after 75 minutes. So we have 1,192.5. So 1192.5. All right, so we get 1192.5. So we have 1,192.5 liters after 75 minutes. And that's it. All right, so we generally learn measurement conversions in 3 parts. We do 1 part with length, 1 part with weight, 1 part with capacity or volume. And then that's pretty much the basic stuff. I think in the next unit, I need to double check, but I think in the next unit, we're going to learn how to convert between US and metric. So when we convert between these two measurement systems, it's a little wacky. And then we might do like maybe temperature, I think. So there's definitely one more section, and I think we're going to convert between the two systems of measure. Okay.